coral reefs? What's a coral? Coral is a hard substance that is made from the bones of very small sea animals, and it's used to make jewelry. What is a reef? Reef is a line of rocks or sand, okay, of which the top is just above or just beneath the surface of the sea, okay? So coral reef is a reef made of coral. One of the Earth's largest living thing is neither the elephant nor the blue whale, but the coral reef, called the Great Barrier Reef, which is situated just away from Australia's eastern coast. Organism is a living thing. Okay? Great Barrier Reef. What's a barrier? Barrier is something like a wall or a fence which prevents things from going from one area to the other. Okay? Off has the meaning of not touching the thing. All right? Coral is a living thing, and it looks like a plant when you look at it, and it's made up of thousands of polyps of coral grouped together. What is a polyp? Polyp is a very small sea animal, and it has a hollow body like a tube, and it has long parts called tentacles around the mouth. So let's see what they look like. Polyps. This is what polyps look like, okay? Let's look at one individual. This one. Okay. Very small. Coral reefs are found in most of the world's oceans, but they exist mainly in tropical waters. Predominant, what does that mean? It means more important or noticeable than others in a situation. Tropical, it relates to the area near the equator. And the largest and most widespread reefs are in the southwest Pacific Ocean. Where's the Pacific Ocean? It's the very large ocean between Asia and Australia and the Americas. The big ocean right here is the Pacific Ocean. So the southwest part is where Australia is. They are home to a large number of undersea plant and animal life, and they are a part of a unique ecosystem of their own. Abundant means large quantities of something. Comprise means is a part, okay, of something. Ecosystem, this is all the animals and plants living in an area together with the relation to the environment, okay? But in many places, coral reefs are in danger because of pollution and other man-made problems threatening their existence. So what is this part about? This part is about what the largest living organism is in the world, being the Great Barrier Reef, which is a coral reef, and it's in Australia. Okay, it's in the sea near Australia, and it's talking about what a coral is. All right, it's a living organism. It looks like a plant, and it's made up of thousands of polyps of coral. And where they are located, they are found in most of the world's oceans, but they are mainly in tropical waters. And the largest and the most widespread ones are in the southwest Pacific Ocean. And a lot of animals and plants live around it, and they make an ecosystem. But in many places, coral reefs are in danger because of pollution and other man-made problems. There are many different coral species, but those that build reefs produce calcium carbonate, which hardens into a substance like a rock. Variety means there are many different things in it, okay? Responsible for means the one who did it, the one who does it. Secrete means to produce liquid, okay? Calcium carbonate, this is a white crystalline salt, okay, occurring in limestone, chalk, marble, calcite, coral, and pearl, all right? And it's used in making cement or lime. Calcium is a soft white element which can be found in teeth and bones, all right, and also in limestone, chalk, and marble. Carbonate is used in substances which are made of carbonic acid, and carbonic acid is the compound of carbon dioxide and water, all right? When the coral die, their skeletons become cemented. They are covered with cement, and it gives an anchoring point for the new living coral to rest on. It gives an anchoring point. What's an anchor? Anchor is a hard hooked object that you throw from a boat into the water joined to a chain, okay, and it's thrown into the water so that the boat doesn't leave its place. It stays there. So anchoring point means a fixed point, okay? When in shallow water, less than 50 meters deep, coral can act together with sunlight and make their young. And so they increase the size of the reef. Inter has the meaning of between, right? Act between. Thereby means by that. So you can say it's the same meaning as so. So it increases, okay? It can reproduce either asexually or sexually. Asexual doesn't mean, asexual means not involving sexual activity. Sexually means involving sexual activity, which is the activity to reproduce, okay, of the animals. In sexual reproduction, a coral lets out thousands of eggs and sperm, which goes through reproduction and begin forming new coral. Emit means to produce something and let it out. Thousands of eggs. Egg is a cell made from the body of a female, and it gets fertilized when the sperm enters it, okay? And yeah. And what's a sperm? Sperm is a cell that is produced in the sex organ of males, all right, and it enters the eggs. and and the egg gets fertilized. What does fertilize mean? Fertilize, if if an egg gets fertilized, that means a sperm enters it and it starts forming a life, okay, a baby. Fertilized. Undergo means go through, okay? After a short time spent near the surface of the water to get energy, a new coral swims into the bottom and sticks itself to the reef's surface. Sometimes an entire colony will reproduce at the same time, and that gives itself a much greater chance to increase in size. Giving itself a much greater chance means, and this gives itself a much greater chance, alright? In asexual reproduction, a coral grows new polyps, which expand the size. Expand means to get larger, alright? Which enlarge the size of the coral colony. Okay? What's a colony? Colony is a group of animals, birds or fish. No, birds or insects living together. Sometimes these polyps detach, means get separated and establish and make their own colonies in different areas. Establish means to make something so that it is likely to last long. Okay, so means making something in a firm way. So what is this part about? This part is about how the coral is formed and how they reproduce. Okay. The reef building corals produce calcium carbonate, which hardens into something like a rock. But when the coral die, their skeletons become covered with cement, and this gives an anchoring point for the new living coral to rest. And in shallow water, less than 50 meters deep, coral can act with sunlight and reproduce, and it increases the size. It can reproduce asexually or sexually. In sexual reproduction, a coral lets out thousands of eggs and sperm, and it begins to form a new life, okay? And a new coral spends a little time in near the surface of the water and then goes down and attaches itself to the reef's surface. But sometimes the entire colony reproduces at the same time. So in this case, it gets very large. In asexual reproduction, a coral grows new polyps, which makes the size of the coral colony large. And sometimes these polyps detach and make their own colonies in somewhere else.